Hi everyone and welcome to Stamp with Angela. I'm Angela Palmer and I'm looking forward to sharing with you today some techniques to do with dry embossing. So that's using embossing folders. And today we're going to be doing some techniques that involve ink and embossing folders. So I've got two cards that are prepared today that I'm going to show you how I made them, and that's using two different ways of using ink with an embossing folder. So I hope you learn some new things today and it inspires you and shows you some of the wonderful products we have and gives you some ideas for your card making too. So thank you for joining me today, whether you're joining me live here on Facebook, whether you're watching the recording later, or whether you are watching this as a video on YouTube. I appreciate you watching and supporting me. Please feel free to include any comments or questions and I'll do my best to answer as we go. If not, I'll answer later. And if you're on YouTube, please comment too and I will reply when I can. And feel free to like the video if you do like it, and also if you're on YouTube, subscribe to my channel and then you'll be kept up to date with other videos and things too. So with my Facebook Lives, I do a Facebook Live every Thursday at 1:30 p.m. So be on the lookout for these videos and I appreciate you joining me. All right, so let's get started. I will turn my camera around and I will show you the first of today's cards, and then we'll get crafting and have fun with our ink and embossing folders. So this is the card that we're going to make today, and I'll show you what we're going to be using. So the main stamp set that I've used is the Amazing Silhouettes. So I have used that before. I did a dauber technique a few weeks ago, so you can always check out that video. And the sentiment I'm using is the Celebrating You. So I've used it just for you. And the good thing about that is, you know, you could use it for a variety of things, but this stamp set is wonderful because it has a variety of occasions, whether it's the standard happy birthday or a thank you. There's happy anniversary, happy Father's Day, happy Mother's Day, congratulations or congrats, and a few other things as well. So if you need a sentiment set, this covers quite a lot of those. So I've just kept it fairly neutral and done a just for you, and then I can kind of use my message inside will be, you know, what I want the card to be for. So you'll see I've used one stamp on the front and this one on the inside. So this is a little bit different with these stamps. Usually you would stamp the tree, but what you're doing is you're stamping around the edge and there's a kind of negative of the tree, and yeah, it creates this effect, which is really cool. So I quite like this particular stamp set, and then I'll show you it with a completely different color scheme afterwards. Okay, so let's just do some quick simple stamping first. We'll stamp these bits in our olive green first, and then I'll show you the technique part with the embossing folder. So the embossing folder that we're using today is this one. I don't know how well you can see it. It's the Time Worn Type 3D embossing folders. They're a bit thicker. And it's kind of sort of writing and patches and that kind of thing. So that's the embossing folder that we're going to use. All right, so let's stamp. So I'm using Very Vanilla. So if you saw my card last week, you would have seen that we used Very Vanilla. I think it's a little bit softer when you use the browns and greens and things. So let's start with my Just For You sentiment down here. Oh, it's a bit wonky. Not too bad, but we'll try again. You get a second chance over. That's better. Okay. And then we'll do the inside stamp. I don't want to press too hard, otherwise I get a line around the edge. So let's press. That looks pretty good. And then our main feature is this one here. It's a bigger stamp, so sometimes I like to do this when I ink it up. Now the trick is trying to get my tree straight, and that's nicely centered. I did another one and it wasn't quite so centered. So try and get it in the middle of my card. I guess I can have, oh yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. That's good too. Okay, so they're all stamped in Old Olive, and then I have just framed them with soft suede. So put that on there, and then for the inside I've gone with the Old Olive. Okay, so that's just simple stamping, and then I'll get on to the technique part. So I was trying to find a shape for this to punch out, but in the end I decided to just cut a square and frame it, and I've done it in soft suede so that it kind of matched how I had done the tree as well. All right, and all I did for each of these is I made it half a centimetre smaller. So the Very Vanilla is 6 by 12. The soft suede is 6.5 by 12.5. This is 5.5 by, I think, about 1.9, because that was the scrap I had. So then the soft succulent will be 6 by like 2.4. And then for my inner, this is 9.5 centimetres. I think it's, sometimes you just have to pull off the end bit because it gets a bit sticky and dried up, because I probably left it out. And if it's not coming out, the other trick you do is I have a paper clip and I just push it in, and then that gets it, whoops, got a bit of gunk around there, then that gets it going again, and then it's going to go splurt when it comes out. There we go, now it's coming out. So yeah, so sometimes it just kind of dries up a little bit. Okay, sorry, I was explaining. So this is 9.5 by 13.8, and then my old olive is 10 centimetres by 14.3. Okay, so they're all our stamped pieces. Now it's on to technique time. So this here. So if I just, so it's crumb cake. If I just use crumb cake and I put it in my embossing folder, it comes out like this. You can't really see the pattern, but I don't know if you can notice that it looks a little bit darker, and you can kind of see a bit more detail. So of course I could put that on the card like that, but we're going to add a bit of ink. So just checking it's the right side, it is. So what I'm going to do with my embossing folder is we're going to use crumb cake ink and a blending brush. And I'm going to open my folder, and on the side, the top side where the stamping up is, I'm going to put ink. So I'm just going to cover it like so. So obviously the more ink you put, the darker. So you can sort of have a play around it and see how you like it. You could swipe your ink pad with it, but you do have to be, you know, a bit careful. This is probably a safer option, particularly if you're maybe in a class or something and lots of people are using it. But this works really well. Okay, so you're putting it, don't have to cover the whole thing, but where the cardstock is going to go. All right, then I'm going to put my piece of cardstock, if I can pick it up, inside. And then I'm going to, whoops, try not to move it, keep it level, straight, and put it through my embossing machine. So this is a wide folder, so I do need my big standard machine, and it's a 3D embossing folder, so I need this, where's the number 4 plate to go on it. So put that down, make my sandwich, and then put it through. All right. Move that out the way. So what happens now, you have got that ink. So with this, you could wipe it with a wipe, or if the sink's nearby, just run under the tap and all the ink will run off. Obviously dry it before you use it again. Now if you look at the two, this is just normal crumb cake embossed, and this is with the ink. So you can see it's darker. I can actually read some of the words now where it was hard before. So if you want it to stand out more, that is what you can do. And you can also, so I've used the same color, crumb cake ink, on crumb cake cardstock. I initially tried Very Vanilla cardstock with crumb cake ink, and it gave that kind of look. I wasn't sure if I, liked it or not, so then I decided to go with the crumb cake. And you could try other colors as well. I think I tried the green too, but I'm not sure where that sample went. But you can definitely see a darkness with this one on the right compared to the one on the left. So that's what we're going to use. So all I need to do is mount it onto a piece of old olive, so it gives that border. So this is the same size as that one. It's 9.5 centimeters by, what did I say? 13.8. And then this one here is 10 10 centimeters by 14.3. All right, so sticking those on the front. Oh, I forgot something. So don't stick it down just yet. I need to put my twine on before I put it in the card. So let's hope we'll put a bit of tape down and try not to get sticky. And I'll measure my twine. So to measure my twine, it needs to be the width of the card and a bit more, 3 times. 3. Now I have to hold this carefully without being sticky. All right, so you've seen me do this before, I'm sure. So kind of not a bit less than half. Stick it on the back. Bend it backwards. Whoops, I just don't want to get myself glued. Is that sticky? There we go. And then back again. And it may not stick quite so well because it was a bit glowy before. I might put some tear-in tape on it to hold it in place. There we go. Or maybe once it's glued down, we might be good. I think that should be all right if we put some glue around it and then stick it on the front. Okay, so remember twine before adhering it. Hopefully my words are up the right way. Yes, they are. Always important to check that. And then we're going to glue it down. Okay, pretty straightforward from here. We can either add our bow now or later. What I might do is just tuck that in now. Tie it up in a minute. And then I'm just going to put this on with dimensionals. So I'm going to do all 4 corners, 1 in the middle, and can you see what I'm doing? I cut my nails recently and now I can't pull them off. Sometimes flicking them off with this helps. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to put that to the side. And then we're going to do this one too. 1, 2. There we go. I'm actually quite clever like that. All right, and we're going to put that down here and then tie a bow. And then put our inside bit and we're kind of done. So if you wanted to, you could add some sort of slightly more masculine colour embellishments, but I'm just going to leave it at that because there's a bit of depth with the ink on the embossing folder. All right, so there you go. That is our card. So yeah, the embossing folder, if you compare it again to just the normal crumb cake, or maybe that side, you'll see how much deeper and darker it is and how you get to see the words and things. So that's one way. So use coloured cardstock and the same colour ink. I made exactly the same card in a completely different colour scheme. How about this? Do you know what colours they are? I've kept with the very vanilla. Do you know what this purpley pinky colour is? Or maybe that's more pink. Yeah. And then this is more purpley. So I've used Fresh Freesia and then Orchid Oasis. So Fresh Freesia is a 2021 to 2023 in colour. So when this catalogue finishes, then the current in colours will be retiring. So that colour will be going. And I've used it a lot. I love it. The Orchid Oasis is also a colour in colour, but that only started last year, so it's got another year to go. But yeah, these are great colours. So it looks quite different, same design. Obviously more neutral colours, masculine, and these are bright and things. And I've done the same. I've inked it up to make that pattern come out a bit more. Now I'm going to show you another card, same layout, but a different way you can get an effect on the background. So I've used the same colours as this. Here we go. But I've used a different embossing folder. I've inked it, but not in the folder. All right. So I don't know if you can tell. Do you know what embossing folder this is? It's the brick and mortar one. And this is what it normally looks like. And I don't know if you can tell, but it's got a slight white tinge to it. I'm going to turn this over so that you get more of the brown against it now. And hopefully you can see that a bit better. All right, so this card here uses this embossing folder. This is just normally embossed, and this is with some white added to it. So on the raised bit, the white kind of shows up. So the embossing folder is a square one like this. You've just got to be careful when you put your cardstock in, because our natural habit is kind of to go like this. All right. But then for a card like this, your bricks would be the wrong way. It needs to be this way. So when you put it in the folder, make sure you know which way your card is going and your bricks are going the right way. Okay? So put the paper in, but still put it through the machine that way with the closed side first. All right. So how I'm going to achieve this effect is with some white ink. So this is Stampin' Up's Craft Whisper White, or might be called Basic White now, pigment ink. So it is a different kind of ink to all the other ink pads. When you buy it, you get it like this in with uninked, and you also get the ink refill, and then you ink it up. Okay. Now this is the old style ink pad too, which I've had mine for a while. I imagine if you buy it now, it's the new style. All right, so inking it up, just going backwards, forwards like that. Just get a spoon and push it around a little bit, and then you're good to go. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of that white ink. I'm just going to put this down so I don't mess up my piece below. And I'm literally just going to swipe it over gently, and it's going to kind of stick to the raised ones more, and you can do it as much or as little as you like. So I'll go quite a bit. So then it's not going to cover all of them, but some of them, and then they become more raised. So can you see that design now? Okay. Now it is a bit wetter and it takes a little bit of time to dry. So we'll put that aside and we'll do our stamping like we did before. So I do need to make sure, because we used green before, that I clean my stamp. So I don't know if you've seen this, but this is the Stamparatus. And I put a little bit of blue in there so I know that's so, oh yeah. So first of all, I sprayed some stamping mist on it. Then I'm going to wipe it to clean it. And then I'm going to dry it on the other side. Okay. And that conditions your stamp, makes them nice and clean and ready to go. Obviously, after a while, there's going to be a lot of build-up on this, and you need to lift it out. So just get something underneath. It just comes out. And you take it to the tap, turn the tap on, rinse it out, and you'll see all sorts of blues and greens, depending on what you've been using, come out. All right, stamping time. So we need this, and we need our little greeting. Oh, and the inside too. Okay, so that's for the inside. Oh, I need to clean that stamp as well. We don't want mixed up with green. And where is my little sentiment? Okay, so just to keep it the same, I'm going to use the same 3 stamps as before, but this time we're using Fresh Freesia. Okay, so let's see if I can get my image nice and straight. Again, because it's a big stamp, I'm going to ink it up like so. I think it's not quite on the block straight, so that probably doesn't help. Yeah, that's pretty good. And we'll do this one on the inside. Cool, and clean my Just For You as well. So obviously it's important to clean your stamps in between. You don't want to contaminate your ink pads with different colours. Not quite so happy with that. Yay, that's better. Okay, so like before, adhering those to the colours behind. Now that's the same size, so something's gone wrong there. Let me just check my other. That's the wrong piece. Okay, here we go. So the measurements were at the beginning of the video with the first card. So we're just framing it, makes it stand out, looks good. Now which side did I want? that one, I think. And I've stamped that on the wrong piece because on the inside I should have a vanilla piece and it should be smaller. So I should have a wider and then a smaller piece. So it should be like that. So that one is going to go on the front with my framing, but that's okay because it's not going to be seen. So I just need to stamp that again. All good. Okay. So let's put those together. And this time we will remember our ribbon before we glue it to the card front. I can't get it to line up. Okay, did I glue that one on? Not very well. Oh, I can slide it still. That's amazing. There we go. Okay, so that's going to be for the front. So we could turn it over or we could just stick it on, but we're not going to see it, so that's good. Okay, next is the ribbon. We learn from our mistakes. It's annoying when things don't quite go right, but then that's all right. We can come up with other creations. All right. So the ribbon I have used is the metallic woven, and I'm using the Orchid Oasis. So let's just measure it and cut it. As you've seen before, my scissors with red on it, so I know that they are for ribbon only. Oops, there we go. So we want to make sure it's high enough because we need to leave room for our sentiment as well. So that's a little bit high, but that's okay. All right, now we've put that on, we can glue it to our card base, which is right here. Actually, before I do, I'm going to just crease that fold with a bone folder just to make it nice and crisp. And okay, now we're going to go, I've got glue there, now we're going to go the other way so that we can cover up that bit of glue. Okay, let's glue this one in now as well. Okay, sorry, working quickly here. Okay, so then like before, dimensionals for this and the entire ribbon. And I don't know if you can see, I've added a bit of bling to this one too. And then just before we finish, I've got one other way of inking that too that I'll show you as well. So just wait till the end and I'll show you one other thing. So this, using the white ink, kind of lightens it up a bit because it's got white. And even though I've used the vanilla, I think it still looks good with the white. You could obviously have stamped on white and used a white piece in the background. I should be using this again, shouldn't I? Much easier. Nearly there, she says, and then the next one doesn't want to come off. Okay. All right, so let's put this here and this one down. Now I probably didn't actually need to put one on both sides. What I should have done was one on one side and glue on the other because that's already raised up. That's probably what I should have done on the other card too. Okay, so our ribbon for our bow, tuck it under and tie a bow, and then add our sparkles. So what I've used to add a bit of shine to it is the iridescent rhinestone jewel, whatever. So you've got three sizes, so you've got the large, the medium and the small. So I'm going to put one of each. So we're going to do a large one up high, and then a medium, and then a little one maybe over here like so. All right, get rid of all these dimensional bits. Okay, so that was the other card actually. That was the one where I inked. Okay, so that was my original. So can you see the white in the background? With the ink, it just helps it stand out a bit more than if it was just that pattern kind of thing. Just adds a bit of colour to it. Alright, and before I finish, I'll show you one other way you can ink it. So this is just normally embossed. I will bring this over again. This time, if you want to go for a more darker colour, I'm going to use VersaMark. So same principle applies, just very gently, kind of strike it across. And those raised ones will, actually let's just do half and then you'll see the contrast. So those raised bricks will then get some colour. Okay, so now if you look at it, you can definitely see what has been coloured with VersaMark and what has been left alone. And that's just going over once you've already embossed it. So there you go, you can have fun with inks and embossing folders. So the first card we did was this one here with our greens and browns and neutrals. And that involved putting ink with a blending brush onto our folder and then putting it through. And then this is the same technique and style in different colours. So again, fresh freesia ink on our cardstock. And then the second card we did was putting the embossing folder through first and then using white ink across it, let it dry. And then the same kind of design. And then the same technique you can try with that is doing, if you want to go for a darker look, go with VersaMark ink, and that's also by, you know, going across it as well. So there you go. Embossing folders are great. Just, you know, use them normally, which I like to do, adds that texture. Or you can try these other techniques as well by adding ink too. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you have enjoyed these techniques and might like to give them a go. If you're interested in any of the folders that I've used, you can order through me, through my online store, or contact me. And if you do have any questions or you'd like any product and things, please get in touch with me. If you're not on my mailing list, then if you go to my blog, stampwithangela.co.nz, on the right hand side, there is a blue box that says where you can get a free tutorial and sign up to my mailing list, and then you'll be kept up to date with promotions, news, inspiration. I have exclusive tutorials in my newsletter, so you might like to sign up for that. And if you don't have the current mini catalogue, which is this one here, it's through till April. So we've got March, April, so 1.5 months to go. Let me know and I'll send you a copy. Bear in mind that towards the end, as April comes around, they won't be restocking. So once things run out of stock, that's it. So get in early rather than later. And we also have our annual catalogue, which is this one here. And that also goes until April. And that's got the full range, all our stamps and our colours and inks and tools and all sorts of things as well. So if you don't have a demonstrator and you don't have either of those, comment below or get in touch with me and I can send those to you. So thank you again. Thank you for being a part of today's Facebook Live. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, each Thursday, 1:30 p.m, I have my Facebook Live, so I hope you can join me again. Either join me live or watch the recording. Someone was asking when the new catalogue comes out. That's a good question. So this one finishes end of April. Well, actually on the 1st of May is the last day. So that means the new annual catalogue will be coming out on the 2nd of May. So a little while to go, but I will, as demonstrators, we get to see it early. We get to pre-order in April, one of the perks of being a demonstrator. And you know, obviously so I can have stuff ready for my classes and customers and things. And then on the 2nd of May, it will come live to customers and things. So they can purchase, and I usually send them out. It'll be when I get them. I've got to order them first, but I'll get them hopefully mid-April and then start sending them out towards the end of April. So if you've ordered through me, recently, then I'll send you one. If you're on my mailing list but I don't have your details, contact me and I can send you the new catalogue. Someone has asked about, is there going to be a colour change? And yes, I understand there is. So I'll just quickly explain what that means. So in our catalogue, this is the current one, are our colour collections. So we have in colours, I talked about that today. I used Fresh Freesia and I used Orchid Oasis, 5 colours that are around for 2 years. And then we have our 4 groups, brights, neutrals, regals and subtles, and that's 10 colours in each, and each year they stay the same. But about every, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years, whatever, Stampin' Up! Do a colour refresh, and that means they have to look at what's trending, and maybe certain colours just aren't popular anymore, or maybe there's sort of, you know, they don't have enough blues or something. They need to reorganise things. So some of these current colours will be leaving, and new ones will come in. So they may be a completely new colour we've never seen before, or it might be some in colours that have been in the past that are coming back. So we will find out about that as demonstrators end of March, early April, and then it will be customers will find out around that time or later as well. And then obviously officially in the catalogue you will see what colours have changed. So if you do have a favourite colour, particularly these ones that will finish in end of April, beginning of May, and you don't have like the ink refills and things, I would suggest stocking up now. You never know. I'm hoping something like Evening Evergreen might actually be part of the new colours. That would be awesome. But if it does retire and it's gone, then those things do sell out quickly, and they won't stay around for all of April. Just once they've gone, they're gone. So it is good to make sure you get in early, particularly with your favourite colours. All right, now I know I've spoken quite a bit longer today, but it is good that I can answer your questions and things. That's what I'm here for. So yes, so I hope you enjoyed these cards, these techniques. Give it a go. If you make a card, send me a photo. I'd love to see what you create too. It's inspiring to know that you know, you learn something from these videos and things, and it gives you some ideas with your crafting. So thanks again for your time today. I look forward to seeing you next time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.